I was born in Greece. I live in Germany. I mostly speak German, and I'm even dreaming in German. Today I'm asked to speak only a few minutes in English about Orthodoxy in Western Europe, focusing on Germany. You may call it a challenge, but being an Orthodox in the West is a challenge that is everything else than boring. We Orthodox confess that our church is the one holy, Catholic and Apostolic Church, Catholic, all-embracing. In terms of geography, we became really Catholic in the 20th century due to various migration waves from traditionally Orthodox countries to all continents. We speak about diaspora, a population scattered all over the world. But what population do we mean? Do we mean our churches or our nations? And how do we engage with the others? And who are the others? Many times, I think that I am the other wherever I am. In Germany, I am the Greek. In Greece, I am the German. For the Orthodox in Greece, I am a Greek Orthodox in Germany. And for the other Orthodox in Germany, I am the Greek Orthodox. The history of Orthodoxy in Germany is a migration history. And there is a great variety in this history. Greeks, Russians, Serbs, Romanians, Bulgarians, Georgians, Arabs of the Rome Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch, Ukrainians, many others. And we all have different stories. And the roots of some communities are much deeper than others. Our experiences are different. The cultures, the mentalities, the way we understand our role in the relations with other churches and within the German society. Many came to Germany in order to stay. For others, this stay has a much more provisional character. Some Orthodox churches are present in Germany are more introvert. Others are more active in the society. It was not self-evident, but the Orthodox in Germany worked a lot in order to find a common voice. And since 2010, we have an Orthodox Bishops' Conference in Germany. The Orthodox churches represented in Germany have differences that mirror the differences, tensions and reservations of their mother churches, but in front of the common challenges, they manage to work together in various levels and to produce even theological work. And I give just one example, a letter from the bishops of the Orthodox Church in Germany to young people concerning love, sexuality and marriage, whose echo went beyond the German context and is visible also in the crucial document of the Ecumenical Patriarchate for the life of the world towards a social ethos of the Orthodox Church. The pan-Orthodox crisis related to the issue of the Ukrainian autocephaly has its impacts on inter-Orthodox structures in the German level, also in the German level. The Russian bishops in Germany had to follow the decisions of their synod, and therefore they stopped participating in the meetings of the Orthodox Bishops' Conference in Germany, chaired, as it has been agreed, in a pan-Orthodox level by the representative of the Ecumenical Patriarchate. No other church followed them to this decision, but nevertheless, the trust among the bishops and the clergymen, despite of this situation, the trust among the bishops and the clergymen, after all these years of collaboration, is visible and enables the continuation of communication on many other levels. And we all face the challenge of the encounter with the ecumenical other. Almost all traditionally Orthodox countries are countries where anti-ecumenism is dominant. And the fact that some Orthodox churches present in Germany seem to be encapsulated in their own world has also to do with this situation, but normally such an attitude does not work. In traditionally Orthodox countries, the other is, let's say, invisible. We speak about them, but we don't see them. They are not there. In Germany, the other has three dimensions. We have Catholic or Protestant neighbors, colleagues, partners. We have to be in contact, and sometimes we realize that it is great to be in contact with them. Orthodoxy is ecumenically active in Germany. There are bilateral dialogues with the Catholics and the Protestants, and also the Council of Christian Churches. Currently, the president of the Council of Christian Churches in Germany is an archpriest of the Ecumenical Patriarchate, and so it is in Baden-Württemberg. And in the wonderful Bavaria, I work as director of the Council of Christian Churches. What are our perspectives? I think one very important point has to do with hardly self-evident Orthodox unity. The tensions of the last years have shown that Orthodox unity is anything but self-evident. In Orthodoxy, there is a cancer, and we all know its name, nationalism. And whenever we behave in a nationalist manner, we are counterproductive in the inter-Orthodox relations, in ecumenism, in the German society. We do not behave as communities preaching the gospel, but as communities primarily supporting the interests of our nations, and this cannot work. Nations divide. Churches should unite. And even if all the Orthodox churches realize the problem, we are far away from its solution. A second challenge I see is an ecclesiological one. We have to respond about what our Catholic and Protestant partners are when we are engaged in dialogue with them. Are they heretics, schismatics, or do they have a kind of ecclesial dignity? Or are we in relation to them just in order to be allowed to use their churches for our services? They are questions which have to be asked. Another issue, according to my opinion, is what I call temptation of exoticism. The ecumenical commitment of Orthodoxy in Germany, and not only in Germany, is constantly confronted with this great temptation of exoticism, and this is two-sided, I would say. On the one hand, there are dialogue partners who present Orthodoxy as something exotic. And sometimes this is meant in a positive way. One wants to arouse curiosity for the unknown. Please come, visit a lecture on icons. It's something you don't know, you haven't experienced, and today we have somebody who will lecture on icons. But practically, the absolutization of such an approach leads to weakening of the voice of Orthodoxy, because this means that it's not perceived as integrated, but rather as something distant, perhaps interesting, nevertheless not of real relevance. And on the other hand, there are also representatives of the Orthodox churches who would like to be perceived as something exotic. It's always easy for an Orthodox theologian to lecture permanently about candles, icons, and Mount Athos. Exoticism often serves as an alibi of laziness and cowardice, and is not a good ecumenical contribution. The encounter with modernity. To overcome the aforementioned temptation, a more intensive encounter of Orthodoxy with modernity, in the German context an ideal one for such an encounter, would contribute. The problems of the West are not just the problems of the West, but problems of our century. And actually, we are also West now. We became West by choice, and we have to contribute. Many difficulties Orthodox parishes are facing in Germany have not to do with confessional reservations, but with the peculiarities of their migrant status. One should not underestimate many practical factors, very practical factors. The lack of personnel, the great financial difficulties of many Orthodox churches without income from church taxes, the meager professional prospects for Orthodox theologians in Germany. We have a wonderful small theological faculty in Munich, Faculty of Orthodox Theology, but what are perspectives for the ones who get a degree from there? The language barriers, it's also an issue. The great pastoral challenges faced by these churches, etc., etc. However, there is no doubt that despite all the obstacles, the Orthodox have become an indispensable part of German ecumenism in the German society. Now we are about 3 million Orthodox in Germany, and we are present in many very decisive church ecumenical structures and in many very important structures of the German society. And we work also as a constant reminder that intra-Christian dialogue is something more than the dialogue between Roman Catholics and Protestants. And one could even argue that often the Orthodox diaspora churches perform a pioneering function here, opening ways that sooner or later their brothers and sisters in faith in their home countries would also follow. Their greatest challenge is to stop behaving as diaspora churches, as ambassadors of their nations, but as evangelizing communities, focusing on the message of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and his kingdom to come, as the Orthodox tradition is teaching it all over the world. This does not mean to question the cultural variety reflected in Orthodoxy, but to remind that the Church is the body of Christ, not the body of the one or the other nation. Thank you.